Hey guys, David here, continuing off this little Sharky tutorial. In this tutorial, we're probably gonna do something that's gonna be very repetitive, but it is needed when rigging any character or anything in Maya. We need to name our joints. Yes, I said name, like give it a name. Like this joint right here is Julio, this one's like Jonathan, and this one, I don't know. So we're gonna have to give them a name, and naming joints is not, it can seem complicated because when I didn't know how to name joints, I would just say, hey, joint one. Hey, this is a tail joint. Hey, yeah, this is another joint. Yeah, woohoo. Who cares about naming joints, right? Like nobody's ever gonna click on a joint. The only person who's gonna know what their name is me, because I made it and I'm awesome and nobody needs to care. But actually, that's not true. You are wrong, because you're gonna create a bad working habit. If you want to do this professionally, you have to know how to name joints more consistently and have a way of naming joints, which is what we call, here's a new word for you, write it down. It's called namespace. When a rigger says, what's your namespace for a character, he's asking you, what how did you name your joints? What is the order of words? How did you arrange the way that you name your joints? So I'm gonna explain that a little bit better by showing you a little example. So okay, we have a little Sharky here. So each joint will control a certain part of that skin, right? So for example, if you have a human, you have a joint for the elbow. So we know that that elbow joint is going to move the elbow in that character, which is, the elbow skin. So we name our joints according to what that joint is going to move in our body. So first of all, let's start off there, right? So we will name it something like elbow, elbow. And then you want to say that it's a joint. Why do you want to put in there that it's joint? Because it keeps things more organized. And sometimes you have, like, say for example, something else, an IK handle. You don't want to confuse that with the joint, which I know it seems kind of weird, but that's just the namespace that we end up using sometimes. Uh, so you would do something like elbow underscore, and it's not joint. Sometimes you can use that. I see a lot of people actually write out the word joint, but I've also seen it be abbreviated by J and T. I like to do it that way just because it's shorter. So it's elbow joint. That's if you were doing a character, right? And let's say you were gonna name the neck. So again, you have to name it something obvious, neck underscore. Maya does not allow spaces. You cannot do neck space J and T for joint. That's not gonna work. You have to, don't make the mistake, you have to have an underscore. So by pressing shift and that little minus sign, which is next to the 0, will give you that underscore. So this is what we call a namespace. Alright, this becomes the name of a joint, but those are example of namespaces. Sometimes if you have multiple characters, you want to name your character according to their actual name. So for example, let's say you were doing Nemo, you would actually say Nemo underscore, and then again you'll say elbow. I know fish don't have elbows, but just for the sake of this tutorial, underscore J and T. And then let's say now again you'd have to repeat the word Nemo underscore, because that is our namespace. That's how we're organizing the joints naming convention for this rig. So you would say then again head underscore joint. So now you start getting an idea of what namespace is. You have to name things according to what part of the body they belong to, and you also have to keep the name of the character, and you have to say what it is. So these are joints which belong to the head, which belong to this character. And then you can keep it going, Nemo underscore root joint, something like that, right? So then that's just a quick example of what namespace is. So that's what we need to do with our character here. So let's just dive right in again. Splash. So this will be, how do you know which one is the root joint? How do I know that this is not the root joint? How do I know that that's not the root joint? Well, the root joint is the joint that everything gets connected to. If you remember, if you've been following this tutorial, you know that that's a root joint. But I'm going to show you a better way of knowing what the root joint is. Go to your window outliner here. And the first joint that you should see here, that's your root joint. No matter what character, no matter what you're doing, if you did it correctly and everything is connected to your root joint, watch this. If I select that one, that should select all my joints. Then I press like W so I get my manipulator tool, and then I can see that it's on this joint, which is my root joint. That is how you create that. That's how you know that's the root joint. Okay, so now I am going to name this one. Because our shark doesn't have a name, I'm not gonna give it a name. I can call it Jaws. So then I would write on here Jaws underscore root underscore joint. So that would be my naming convention. But because he doesn't have a name or anything like that, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Or should I? No, I'm just gonna call it root underscore JNT. So that's my namespace. Go to the next one. Now you can press up and down in your arrow keys, and that'll go to the next joint automatically by pressing up and down in your arrow keys. That's kind of a neat trick. Now this one, again, look at where the joint is. What do you want to call this? I know it's a shark. I don't know too much about the body parts, but it seems to be in the middle of the shark. So to keep it simple, I can call it either chest. It looks like the chest of a shark. Or I can call it, I'll just call it mid. M-I-D, because it's in the middle of the shark. J&T, again, you want to say that it's a joint. Hit enter. Press down. Whoops. Press down. This will be, I'm going to call this the beginning of the tail, because this looks like the tail. And I'm going to call this, hey, what do you know? Tail underscore. Now because the tail has different parts, like one little joint here, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to say it's the first one. Tail 01 or 01 underscore, and what is it? It's a joint. So tail 01 joint. And I put an 01, I'm going to copy that, go to the next joint, paste it, and that is now 2. So keep it simple. Press down, go to the next joint, paste it, and say 3. Enter, go to the next one, press down, paste, and say 4. Go to the last one. Now the last joint, remember, there's nothing in front of this joint. You might be thinking, well, name it, whatever is here. That's actually wrong, because this joint has this little arrow thing. So this joint actually has all this. This joint doesn't have anything in front of it. So there's nothing that is going to be attached to. So we typically call these end joints or tip joints. So I'm just going to paste that, and instead of putting here like, oh, not that one, this one. Instead of putting here, a number 5 joint, I'm just going to call it tip, tail tip joint. Alright. And then I'm going to go, let's go up here to the top. Now this is part of another section of the body. This is a tail, like the upper fin. So I'm going to call it that. I can call it tail upper fin. So I can say tail, I can capitalize upper, let's just leave it like that, tail upper, and then underscore, again a 1 underscore, it's a joint. Copy this, hit enter, go to the next joint, paste it and say part 2. Go to the next joint. This one is not going to be 3. This is going to be end, or actually I said tip. So tail upper, it's the tip joint. Hit enter. Go to the bottom one. I'm going to paste this, but I'm going to say it's not the upper of the tail, it's the bottom O1 joint. Copy that, paste it, say part 2, and go to the last one and say it's not 3, it's the tip joint. And then let's go to this little fin. Now this one has 2 sides. Every time something has 2 sides and they're identical or they were mirrored, we need to say that it belongs to the left side or to the right side. So let me show you here. And you want to start off with that first. It's a good idea to start off with that. So this would be, for example, again, do it in the direction that, or I'm sorry, in the side that the shark's fin is located at. So this would be the shark's left. Don't do it on your left, do it on the shark's left. So if you have a character and you're trying to name it like left arm, make sure it's the character's left arm, not what you're looking to be your left. So this would be, this, I would probably say, hey, this is my right over here, it's the screen right, but really that's the shark's left. So always name it based on your character's location, or direction I should say. So this would be left, because that's the shark's left. Left, I'm gonna call this small fin underscore, it's the first one of the joints. So left small fin O1 joint. So just the name of the joints is something that you have to be, something that you create yourself. Everything else like left, okay, I know that. O1, alright, O1 of 2 of 3 of 4, and then you always end with joint. So this is the only thing that you have to create yourself. This is where you put in your own creativity, right, or whatever it is you want. Hey, I can see that these joints have values. I guess I forgot to freeze transformation on these, so I will take care of that right away. So paste that again. This is 2, so don't forget to change that. And then the last one, it's going to be not 3 but the tip. So boom, baby. Freeze transformations, I don't know why I left those rotations there. Freeze transformations, damn ambulance. Alright, so alright, those are all frozen. So I'm gonna delete the right side, just because I know if I mirrored them, then they have also values in there. So I'm gonna select that joint, skeleton mirror joint, and that's correct. I'm gonna look for the word left in these joints, and I'm gonna replace it with right. Hit mirror. Let's go to this side. You can already see over here it replaced it with right small fin 01, right small fin 02, and right small fin tip joint. So that is perfect. That's why I love the mirror joint tool. Let's do the same thing for this guy. And this one's already done. Left flipper joint. Except I need to end JNT. So I'm going to get rid of this joint and just call it left flipper 01 joint. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it on this one and say left flipper 02 joint. And the last one, left flipper tip joint. So again, because I'm too lazy to rename these, I'm gonna delete it. Select that, skeleton, and just do a mirror joint because I know my settings are already set to replace left with right. So just hit that again. Check this out. That one's already renamed to right flipper 01, right flipper 02 joint, and lastly right flipper tip joint. And let's go ahead and finish this guy off. I still have the whole head to do. So this is gonna be, I'm just gonna call this fin. This is the sharky, dangerous fin that peeks out of water. The sharky in the water. So this is gonna be fin 01 joint. Oh crap. NT. Copy this. Control C. Control V to paste it and say OT. You can tell I'm kind of bored, but you have to do this. Fin tip. Just make it fun, you know? Screw it. Make something boring fun. That's what I always say. So that's done. This would be now it gets kind of tricky here, but again, remember this is attached to this joint. So this entire joint here is what? Probably the head. So I will call this head underscore joint. And then this, remember there's nothing in front of it, so I used to make the mistake of thinking, no, this is the head joint. This would be like the neck joint. Well, a shark doesn't have a neck. I don't know if you call it a head, but I call this one the head because this will control the head. Well, I could probably replace that with neck, but I'm just gonna call it the head just to make it easy for me. This one, again, there's nothing in front of it, so this would actually be like a nose joint, but really you're not gonna control a nose. There's not gonna be a nose controller. So this is actually like a head. It's part of the head, and it's a tip. So you say head tip, J and T. Again, this one is what? Which one's gonna be the mouth or the jaws? Ooh, the actual jaws joint. Is this the jaw or is this the jaw? This one's the jaw, boy. Better follow my tutorials. Jaw underscore joint. This one is what? That's right, you should know by now. The jaw underscore tip joint. Get it in your head, boy. I said boy. Okay, so I think that's it. Am I done? Can I go party now? Jeez. I just wanna party. I don't want to name joints anymore. It hurts. It hurts. My clicking arm. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I can go play some PlayStation. No, I'm joking. No, for real, I am. Okay, so that's it. I know it was kind of painful, but you're gonna thank me when we start doing skinning. Skinning is actually another fun thing you can do, which is when the shark comes to life. So if you did not name your joints appropriately, or for right now, if you're a beginner, I cut you some leeway. Alright, you can name this just like tail. This would be like tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, and then this will be like, I don't know, upper tail 1, 2, and 3, bottom tail 1, 2, and 3. You know, whatever you want to name it, but it's alright. I'll cut you some leeway because you're starting out. But once you get into a professional, you're gonna have to have a good namespace. So hopefully you guys learn what a namespace is. It's just the way you name your joints and how you set everything up. How you have a name of a joint, what that belongs to, and then you have, is it joint 1, 2, or 3, or what part of that body does it belong to, and then you say what it is. It's a joint. So that is a namespace. That is my namespace. Alright, so again, subscribe if you like my videos. Keeps you up to date. Check out my animationmethods.com website. I have this awesome book. If you want to be an animator and if you're looking to get into the industry, check out this book. I promise you, you're gonna love everything in it, because I talk about, what it's like on your first day on the job, what to expect in an interview, tips, how to land that job, and then of course, well, what did I just do? What did I do? Oh no, I'm watching my own hook video. And here's that uh, rigging book. So if you want to learn how to rig a character, check that book out. Peace out.